Hello everyone. My name is Elise. Welcome to my channel. I hope you're all doing so good today. We are doing a tag video, which I don't do very often, but I'm really excited to do this one. I did it last year and excited to do it again. This is, as you probably know by the title, the end of the year book tag. So we're going to be talking about all the books that I'm going to try and get to before the end of the year comes. It's coming very quickly. I'm filming this in like the middle of November. It's probably gonna come out a little bit later, but basically near the end of November. So there's not a lot of time left. So we'll see if I can actually get to all of these books. But I do like trying to organize as I'm getting close to the end of the year to see like what is the priority to actually fit in. So let's go ahead and get into it. This tag is created by Bissett. I will link their channel down below, and I will also put the tag questions down below. That way, if you want to answer them, you can put it in the comments, and I'm very interested to see what you have to say about this. The first question is, are there any books you started this year that you need to finish before the end of the year? And there is one, mainly Permafrost by Baltasar. This is translated from the Spanish by Julia Sanchez and published by And Other Stories. This And Other Stories Publisher Taste Test video is going to be the death of me, honestly. There have been so many challenges along the way to doing this video, and I just need to complete this in order to do it. I've started it. I'm like 40 pages in, and it's not very long, but I have not finished it yet. I'm going to finish before the end of the year, and I'm going to do that video, I swear. So Permafrost is the one that has been plaguing me for months now, and we're gonna get to it. We're gonna hit the finish line on that one. So that's definitely the book I need to get to. Next question is, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? And I do have a couple of selections for this. I think last year I just went with like, what's a book that I think is good for an autumnal transition? Oh my God. This year I'm gonna go with books that I actually read this year and answer it that way. And they're both mysteries. I think mysteries are a great fall vibe. A lot of mysteries are set around the fall time, and kind of that like sleuthing type of mindset I just feel like goes good with it getting darker. Criminal activity happens at night. Am I grasping for straws? Maybe, but I love these books and I think they're great for the fall season. So the first one is Sherlock Holmes. It could be any Sherlock Holmes novel. I have the one that I'm currently reading here, which is The Hound of the Baskervilles, but it could be anything. I think he's such an iconic detective, obviously. I mean, he's a huge reason that we have the detective novel in general, and such a wonderful character to be in the mind of. And a lot of these take place in London. It's rainy, it's foggy. That gives me fall vibes. So I think Sherlock Holmes is a great pick. And then I also am going to insert a Veronica Speedwell book here as well. This series is a kind of very similar vibe to this, where it's a Victorian era murder mystery series that has a duo, Veronica and Stoker. And again, I think this is just like classic sleuthing fall vibes. Love it. So if you're looking for a good murder mystery, these two I would highly recommend for the fall transition. Question number 3 is there a new release that you're still waiting for? At the time that I'm filming this, I don't think this book has come out, but I don't know if it will have come out by the time it goes up. The book I'm thinking of is American Precariat. Is that right? American Precariat, yes. And this is an essay collection that's edited by people who have formerly been or are currently incarcerated, and it's talking about freedom, specifically in the United States. I think that's a really important perspective to talk about freedom from. So yeah, really excited for that collection. Another book that I think just came out in November is The Vulnerables by Sigrid Nunez. And I've never read anything by him before. He famously wrote The Friend, which was very popular, but I'm really interested in The Vulnerables, so that one I also want to pick up. Question 4 is, what are 3 books you want to read by the end of the year? And I'm gonna do 6 books. There's gonna be 3 that are aspirational and I'm probably not gonna be able to get to, and 3 that I know I'm going to be getting to. So we're gonna have an aspirational one and a realistic one. For the aspirational books, I have been wanting to get to this all freaking year and have not been able to get to it yet. And that is Case Study by Graeme, McRae, Burnett. This is published by Biblioasis. And this was nominated for the Booker Prize last year, I believe. And this takes place in London in 1965. And it's the diary or journal of a woman who starts seeing a psychotherapist because she thinks that this psychotherapist has something to do with her sister's suicide, because her sister was seeing him at the time that she committed suicide. So that premise, I think, sounds so fascinating. I like that it's written in a diary style format, and I've been wanting to get to this for so long. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to it by the end of the year, but this is definitely up there. Next, and similarly, which is one I've been thinking about all year but haven't gotten to yet, is W3. This is by Bette Howland, and it's published by Public Space Books. This is a memoir, and it's all about the author's experience being in a psych ward. So strangely adjacent to this one, and this was originally published in 1974. Psych wards now are very different than they were back then, so just wanting to get some more historical context for this experience. And I've heard that she's an amazing writer as well, so really anticipating getting to that one whenever I can. And lastly, on the aspirational side is Mrs. S. This is by Kay Patrick and published by Europa. This one sounds so plotty and rompy, and I really want to get to it. This would be another one for a good transitional book into fall because I do think it's dark academia. It follows a woman who starts at a boarding school, I believe. Yeah, it's an elite all-girls English boarding school, and she ends up falling in love with the headmaster's wife. And drama ensues from there. I've heard great things about it. Also, this cover is gorgeous. So another one I would love to get to, but not sure if I'm going to be able to. The 3 that are actually realistic for me to get to are, firstly, Pachinko. This one I am buddy reading this month, so definitely going to be reading it. It's one of my Picante beef babies because it is over 500 pages, and I have it divided up into the books. I don't know if you can see that. So there's 3 books. Yeah, I've heard great things about this. Like most people have, it's very popular. It's a family saga book about a woman who gets pregnant in Japan in the 1900s. Yeah, in the early 1900s. And that decision has a ripple effect on generations to come. So excited to get to Pachinko and have finally read this. So this one I will definitely be getting to because it's a buddy read. Another one that's a buddy read is The Secret Lives of Church Ladies. This is by Deesha, Philyaw, and it's published by West Virginia University Press. It's a short story collection that is all about women trying to explore their desires and tear apart this narrative of being a good woman or a good girl, and I think I'm going to love it. This is beloved by so many people. And again, it's a buddy read, so I'm definitely going to be getting to it. It's also one of my 5-star predictions. That's an extra little bonus for me getting to it by the end of the year. So that is Secret Lives of Church Ladies. And lastly, we have Death Valley by Melissa Broder. It has been a year of Melissa Broder for me. I've read Milkfed and The Pisces this year and really enjoyed both of them. And this one also sounds fascinating. It's about a woman whose father has recently passed away, and her husband is also very ill, and she flees to California to escape it all and asks the receptionist for a hike recommendation in the area. And as she's going on the hike, she sees this cactus, and in the cactus is a secret doorway, and she passes through, and that's the setup. Sounds fascinating. It sounds like the quirky, dark side of humor that she writes so well. And this book is also much shorter than the other 2 books. So it should be a quick read, but definitely want to try and fit that one in as well. Okay, question 5 is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? And my favorite books of the year are pretty solidly up there. So it would be hard, but I do have 2 other 5-star predictions that were 2023 releases that I do think could be up there. I mean, they're 5-star predictions, so I'm sort of anticipating loving them. And they're both nonfiction, and nonfiction does tend to be rated pretty highly for me because I'm already interested in the topic that it's going to be about, so it's a much safer bet. But the 2 that I'm thinking of are In Vitro. This is by Isabel Zapata, and it's translated by Robin Myers from the Spanish. This is on longing and transformation, and it's about the author's experience going through in vitro and her struggles with fertility. I think it's going to be great. It's published by Coffee House Press, very slim, so this one has potential for me. And then the other one is Wanting, Women Writing About Desire. This is an essay collection that's edited by Margot Kahn and Kelly McMasters and published by Catapult. This one's a little bit chunkier. It has writers that I already have read from and loved. This does feel like a pretty safe bet for me. Maybe one of these could get up there, and I do have a good amount of nonfiction in my best books of the year so far, which is a little bit abnormal for me, so it might just be the year of nonfiction for Elise, and I'm okay with that. So these could be big contenders. And the last question that we have here is, have you already started making plans for 2024? And I definitely have. I am a little planning baby, and I love to plan things. I love making lists. So I have started thinking about this a little bit, but I'm also thinking that in 2024, I might reduce the amount of goals that I have overall. I had the most goals I've ever had in 2023, and I have really loved that. I have no regrets for that, but I do think next year I'm gonna really specialize and only make a couple of goals and have them be very pinpointed to what I want the focus of my 2024 reading to be. So that's what I'm thinking so far. I will of course make a video about my 2024 goals so you can get to hear a little bit more about them, but definitely it's already on the radar. I've been thinking about it. That is the last question, my friends. Please let me know any of your answers to these questions, and consider yourself tagged if you would like to be tagged, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.